Investment decisions are always an issue, whether it's an individual taking those decisions, whether it's a board of trustees making those decisions. It's always a problem because of the so-called human factor. We are led as squidgy human beings. We are led by our beliefs, our fears, our what we hear from friends, and that makes the process rather difficult. Today I've got Paul Nixon here, who heads up Behavioural Finance at Momentum Investments, to just talk us through the human factor when it comes to decision making. Paul, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Chris. Good to be here.
So Paul, if you could maybe just take us through some of the basics. I mean, what are those issues that, and how do we overcome the human factor in this equation? Because we are led by all kinds of different things. So, give us some advice.
Yeah, so Chris, it's such a, it's a big question, but let me have a crack at it sort of in maybe the simplest way by saying that I think where we've gone wrong as an industry is kind of ignoring the human behind the decisions, if I can say that. So the field of finance really got stuck in the utility kind of area, right? So I mean, if you had walked into Harry Markowitz's office in the 1950s and said that psychology is an important part of decision making, you probably would have got the same reception as someone from the Flat Earth Society. You probably would have been laughed out of them. And it's not necessarily that these people didn't know this, but it is. It's more difficult to model human behavior, right? It's much easier to develop economic models where you max or you're picking the biggest number. So I think sort of really what we need to understand, especially from an investing context, we need to start understanding what people want from their investments, because people don't think in terms of risk and return and efficient frontiers and Sharpe ratios. People don't have financial goals; they have life goals with a price tag. So people don't think in that way, and that's why often there's a big disconnect between people's behavior and their portfolio. So if we focus on what people want from their investments, and in a recent survey, number one thing that people want from their investments is financial security. So when markets crashed in March of 2020, from 57,000 points right down to 37,000 points, it should be no surprise that people are trying to move money around frantically to try and get away from that. If their primary need is financial security from their investments. And I think, we also need to understand what people get from investing, as well. People get way more than utility from investments. We get expressive benefits from investing. Anything we buy or anything as a human being, we're constantly trying to communicate with people. If we buy a Porsche, we're trying to communicate something. If we buy cryptocurrency, we're trying to communicate something. We might be trying to communicate that we can predict the way the world is going. That we're picking a winner of the future, so we're a winner ourselves. And then people also get emotional benefits from investing. Investing can make us feel a certain way. So think about lining up your value system with your investments. So think ESG investing, for example. We can get a sense of pride from that. And these emotional benefits and expressive benefits have been almost completely ignored in traditional finance theory. And I think that's one of the big problems, when we create these disconnects, when we speak in investment, speak in risk and return, and, it doesn't sometimes connect with what the human being behind that decision. And I think that's probably one of the main areas of concern, and where, that bridge we need to build between people's intentions and their actions.
So where do you see the future going with regards to things like technology? Not replacing humans, but enhancing those sort of decisions and making it better by using technology to aid that process. Is that anything that you see for the future, perhaps?
Yeah, because I think there's going to be technology is going to play a massive role. So we shouldn't. It's not something we should be threatened by, because it's going to help human beings make better decisions. So a simple example would be that your financial advisor can't be with you every time you swipe your credit card, but Google is, so Google has the power, because, by the way, Google knows a heck of a lot about you and I as well, whether we like it or not. So, Google has the power to at the point of making a decision, and from a behavioral science point of view, the point that you make a decision, engaging at that point is extremely important in terms of changing that behavior, right? So there could be a pop-up, there could be an engagement to say, listen, Paul or Chris, it's your mom's birthday. You just put a flat screen TV in your shopping cart. It's your mom's birthday pretty soon. Are you sure you want to do that? Or are you sure you want that Range Rover? It's going to cost you 5,000 Rand a month in your retirement income. Are you sure you want to kind of click the proceed button? So Some simple examples, but I think technology is going to play an important role, not without humans though. So the best example probably is Garry Kasparov. Remember the chess player in the late 80s, first time he gets beaten by AI, and the world was kind of gasped at the same time, I think, when machine beat man. But since then, we've seen centaur partnerships between chess players and AI that no machine can beat. And that's just, the reason is that humans are good at stuff and machines are good at stuff. And luckily for us, we're good at different things. So machines are very, very good at tactics, processing a million iterations. If we move the pawn here and you do that, then I do this and you do that, they can process those sequential things very quickly. Human brains are not very, very good at processing sequential stuff quickly. But what human brain can do is map out where are we going, the strategy, kind of. So where are we going with this kind of play that we're trying to do, for example. So that's kind of the key difference, Chris. So technology extremely important, AI extremely important, but probably going from AI, which is artificial intelligence, to IA, which is intelligence augmentation. So human body being involved in the processing.
Got that, 100%. Very interesting topic. Paul, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. And take care. We'll chat soon.
Thanks very much. Chat soon.